Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The WWE locker rooms have a special relationship with Triple H, who has been widely praised in recent years for significantly improving the product and the working environment. Stars have revealed that they sometimes call the boss Papa H because he's always there. A current champion called on the chief content officer earlier today, and it appears he may have delivered. Chelsea Green is enjoying a bit of momentum on the road to WrestleMania 41. The inaugural Women's United States champion is hoping to qualify for Elimination Chamber this Friday when she faces Naomi. Green and Piper Niven have gone at it with Naomi and partner Bianca Belair on SmackDown lately, with their eyes on the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Green and the Glow have been trading shots on social media for weeks, but things picked up this week. The hot mess mocked her opponent with a viral impersonation, which brought the heat from Naomi. One particular jab offended Green so much that she called on the boss to intervene. It remains to be seen if Triple H had any kind of involvement, but it's very interesting how Naomi's tweet was deleted in no time. While Naomi has her eye on ending Green's reign as the inaugural Women's United States champion, Chelsea and Piper have teased going for the Women's Tag Team Championship. The recent non-televised live event in Detroit saw Belair and Naomi retain over their heel challengers, Women's United States champion Chelsea Green and Women's Tag Team champion Naomi will do battle in an Elimination Chamber PLE qualifier on Friday's WWE SmackDown from Washington, D.C. Below is the updated lineup. SmackDown will mark WWE's second ever Green vs. Naomi televised match. The first took place on the June 14, 2024, Blue Brand episode, with Naomi getting the win. It was the night after the grand spectacle that had just taken place at the most electrifying event of the year, the Royal Rumble. The massive crowd inside the arena was still buzzing from the show's closing moments, but backstage, the atmosphere was anything but celebratory. In fact, it was tense, with shadows hanging over the WWE champion, Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins had just successfully defended his WWE championship in a hard-fought, grueling match that had left him battered, bruised, and weary. Yet, as the confetti rained down and the crowd continued to chant his name, he couldn't shake the overwhelming sense that something wasn't right. It was more than just the physical toll. It was the pressure, the responsibility, and the constant feeling that his reign was on the verge of slipping from his grasp. The problem. It wasn't his ability to fight or perform. No, Seth Rollins had that in spades. It wasn't even the challengers lining up to take the title from him. He had proven time and time again that he could outsmart, outlast, and overpower anyone who stood in his way. But there was a darkness, a shift in the air that no one could ignore. It was the growing influence of the authority, the corporate faction that once dominated WWE under Triple H's reign. They were watching him closely, waiting for him to falter, for him to show weakness. And every night, Seth felt that presence looming over him, an invisible force threatening to strip him of everything he had worked so hard to build. The lights in the locker room flickered as Seth stood in front of the mirror, his chest heaving as he caught his breath. His eyes were bloodshot, his skin pale, and his body was covered in bruises. But it wasn't the physical pain that gnawed at him. It was the gnawing thought that he was being watched, that someone was out there plotting his downfall. Suddenly, a knock on the door broke his concentration. He turned around quickly, instinctively putting his guard up, but it was only a familiar face standing at the door. "Mind if I come in?" The voice belonged to none other than Triple H, the King of Kings, the game himself. Seth raised an eyebrow. "Triple H, what do you want?" Triple H stepped inside, his usual stern expression softened with a hint of concern. He looked at Seth, his eyes studying the young champion, in a way that only someone like him could. "You look like you've seen better days," Triple H observed, crossing his arms over his chest. "That match last night wasn't just physical, was it?" Seth let out a deep sigh, running a hand through his damp hair. He wasn't in the mood for small talk, but something in Triple H's tone made him feel like he had no choice but to speak his mind. "No," Seth replied, his voice low. It's not just the match, it's everything, the pressure, the constant feeling like I'm being watched. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up. Triple H studied Seth for a moment before speaking again. You're the WWE champion, you're supposed to be able to handle this, you've been on top before, you know what it takes. I do, Seth said, his voice rising slightly. But this is different, the authority is still out there, waiting for me to slip. It's like I'm being suffocated by the weight of it all. I can't breathe. Triple H, I need help. Triple H's eyes narrowed slightly. It was rare for someone to admit weakness to him, especially someone as proud and capable as Seth Rollins. But in that moment, Triple H recognized something in Seth that he hadn't seen in years: vulnerability. You don't need help, Seth, Triple H said, walking over to him. You need to believe in yourself. You're more than capable, but I get it. The weight of the world can feel like too much sometimes. You can't carry it alone, Seth shook his head, looking down at the floor. I don't know anymore. I don't even know who I can trust. The authority is in the background, pulling strings, and every decision I make feels like a trap. What if they're just waiting for me to fail? Triple H placed a hand on Seth's shoulder, his tone softer than usual. I'm not here to pull you back into the authority, Seth, but I'll tell you this: you can't let fear dictate your actions. The moment you let them control your every move is the moment you've already lost. If you want my help, I can give it to you. But you have to trust me, and you have to trust yourself. Seth swallowed hard, his throat tight with emotion. I don't know if I can do this alone anymore. Triple H, I need guidance. I need someone who's been through this. Someone who understands. Triple H's eyes softened as he studied Seth. It had been years since he had been in a similar position, standing at the pinnacle of WWE, weighed down by the responsibility of the title. He had been the one who felt the burden of the authority's influence, always walking a fine line between power and corruption. He had made the mistakes, learned the hard way, and eventually emerged stronger because of it. You don't have to do this alone, Triple H said finally, his voice filled with sincerity. I can help guide you, but you need to make your own decisions. You need to be the one who chooses how your story is written. The authority may be lurking in the shadows, but you have the power to rise above them. Seth hesitated for a moment before looking up at Triple H. There was a fire in his eyes now, a spark of determination that had been missing for weeks. Okay, Seth said, his voice steady. I'm ready. I'll take your help, Triple H, but I'm doing this on my terms. Triple H nodded, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Good, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. The plan unfolds. With Triple H's guidance, Seth Rollins began to reevaluate his position in WWE. The pressure of being the champion was immense, but with a veteran like Triple H by his side, Seth began to see the bigger picture. He was no longer just a pawn in the authority's game, he was the player. Over the next few weeks, Seth worked closely with Triple H, learning the intricacies of navigating the WWE landscape. He learned how to manipulate the system, how to use his power to control the narrative, and how to strike at the right moment. But more than anything, he learned how to trust his instincts once again. But the road was not without its challenges. One week, Seth found himself face to face with his next challenger, Roman Reigns. The former Shield brother had been gunning for the title ever since Seth had taken it from him. The tension between the two was palpable, and the fans were more than ready to see them collide once again. Seth knew that if he wanted to keep the title, he would have to prove himself. But this time it wasn't just about physical prowess, it was about mental fortitude. He would have to outsmart Roman Reigns, not just outlast him. The night of the match arrived, and the atmosphere inside the arena was electric. Fans chanted both Seth's name and Roman's, creating an undeniable buzz as the two competitors stood across from one another in the ring. But as the match progressed, Seth's mind raced. He could feel Triple H's presence in his corner, guiding him, helping him see the moves before they happened. Every decision Seth made felt calculated, every counter to Roman's attacks perfectly timed. And when the match reached its peak, it was Seth who had the upper hand. In a stunning move, Seth Rollins secured the victory over Roman Reigns, successfully defending his WWE Championship once again. The crowd erupted, but Seth's focus remained razor-sharp. He wasn't celebrating, he was strategizing, thinking about what came next. As the smoke cleared and Seth stood victorious, he glanced backstage where Triple H was watching with a satisfied expression. The game gave him a small nod, acknowledging his success. Seth had done it. He had overcome the pressure, the shadows of the authority, and his own doubts. With Triple H's help, he had not only retained his title, but he had done so on his terms. Seth Rollins had found his path, and he was ready to walk it, alone, but never without the wisdom of the game guiding him from the sidelines. The future of the champion. The days that followed were filled with anticipation. Seth Rollins had solidified his position as the WWE champion, but the road ahead was uncertain. The authority may have been lurking in the background, but Seth had learned the most important lesson of all: control. As Seth stood tall at the top of the WWE mountain, he knew one thing for sure: his reign was just beginning. And with Triple H by his side, he was ready to face whatever challenges awaited him. The darkness no longer felt so suffocating. Seth Rollins was ready to embrace his future as the undisputed champion of WWE. This concludes the story of the WWE champion pleading for Triple H's help. The journey from doubt to confidence, from reliance on others to independence, and the growth of Seth Rollins as a champion has only just begun. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.